Tom and Jerry is an American animated media franchise and series of comedy short films created in 1940 by William Hanna and Joseph Barbera. Best known for its 161 theatrical short films by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, the series centers on the rivalry between the titular characters of a cat named Tom and a mouse named Jerry. Many shorts also feature several recurring characters.
In its original run, Hanna and Barbera produced 114 Tom and Jerry shorts for MGM from 1940 to 1958. During this time, they won 7 Academy Awards for Best Animated Short Film, tying for first place with Walt Disney's Silly Symphonies with the most awards in the category. After the MGM Cartoon Studio closed in 1957, MGM revived the series with Gene Deitch directing an additional 13 Tom and Jerry shorts for Rembrandt Films from 1961 to 1962. Tom and Jerry then became the highest-grossing animated short film series of that time, overtaking Looney Tunes. Chuck Jones then produced another 34 shorts with Sib Tower 12 Productions between 1963 and 1967. 3 more shorts were produced, The Mansion Cat in 2001, The Karate Guard in 2005, and A Fundraising Adventure in 2014, making a total of 164 shorts. The series features comic fights between 2 lifelong enemies, a cat, Tom, and a mouse, Jerry. The plots of each short usually center on Tom and Jerry's numerous attempts to have the best of each other and the mayhem and destruction that follows. Despite Tom's clever strategies, whether they work or not, determined and energetic mindset, large size, and exceptional overall intelligence, he rarely succeeds in getting the best of Jerry, mainly because of Jerry's cunning abilities, luck, and his lack of tendencies in being a bit too reckless. However, on several occasions, they have displayed genuine friendship and concern for each other's well-being. At other times, the pair set aside their rivalry in order to pursue a common goal, such as when a baby escapes the watch of a negligent babysitter, causing Tom and Jerry to pursue the baby and keep it away from danger, in the shorts Busy Buddies and Taut Watchers respectively. Despite their endless attacks on one another, they have saved each other's lives every time they were truly in danger, except in the 2 Mousekeeters, which features an uncharacteristically morbid ending.
Tom, named Jasper in his debut appearance, is a gray and white domestic short-hair cat. Tom is a generic name for a male cat. He is usually but not always, portrayed as living a comfortable, or even pampered life, while Jerry, whose name is not explicitly mentioned in his debut appearance, is a small, brown house mouse who always lives in close proximity to Tom. Despite being very energetic, determined, and much larger, Tom is no match for Jerry's wits. Jerry also possesses surprising strength for his size, approximately the equivalent of Tom's, lifting items such as anvils with relative ease and withstanding considerable impacts. Although cats typically chase mice to eat them, it is quite rare for Tom to actually try to eat Jerry, but only to hurt or compete with him as usual in a more intimidating strategy to just taunt Jerry, even as revenge, and even to obtain a reward from a human, including his owner, /master, for catching Jerry, or for generally doing his job greatly as a house cat. By the final fade-out of each cartoon, Jerry usually gets the best of Tom.
Although many supporting and minor characters speak, Tom and Jerry rarely do so themselves. One exception is the Lonesome Mouse, where they speak several times briefly, primarily Jerry, to contrive to get Tom back into the house. Tom more often sings while wooing female cats. For example, Tom sings Louis Jordan's "Is You Is or Is You Ain't My Baby" in the 1946 short Solid Serenade. In that short and Zoot Cat, Tom woos female cats using a deep, heavily French-accented voice in imitation of then-popular leading man, actor Charles Boyer. At the end of The $1 Million Cat, after beginning to antagonize Jerry, he says, "Gee, I'm throwing away $1 million. But I'm happy." In Tom and Jerry, The Magic Ring, Jerry says, "No, no, 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 no," when choosing the shop to remove his ring. In The Mouse Comes to Dinner, Tom speaks to his girlfriend Toots while inadvertently sitting on a stove. "Say, what's cookin'?" To which Toots replies, "You are, stupid." Another instance of speech comes in Solid Serenade and The Framed Cat, where Tom directs Spike through a few dog tricks in a dog trainer manner. In Puss Gets the Boot, Jerry prays for his life when Tom catches him by the tail. Jerry has also whispered in Tom's ear on several occasions. In Love Me, Love My Mouse, Jerry calls Toots Mama. Tom and Jerry was a commonplace phrase for young men given to drinking, gambling, and riotous living in 19th century London, England, United Kingdom. The term comes from Life in London, or Days and Nights of Jerry Hawthorne and His Elegant Friend Corinthian Tom, 1821, by Piers Egan, the British sports journalist who also authoring and writing another and related novel, Buxiana. However, Brewer notes no more than an unconscious echo of the Regency-era original in the naming of the cartoon.
Beginning in 1965, the Hanna and Barbera Tom and Jerry cartoons began to appear on television in heavily edited versions. The Jones team was required to take the cartoons featuring Mammy Two Shoes and remove her by pasting over the scenes featuring her with new scenes. Most of the time, she was replaced with a similarly fat white Irish woman. Occasionally, as in Saturday Evening Puss, a thin white teenager took her place instead, with both characters voiced by June Foray. However, recent telecasts on Cartoon Network and Boomerang retain Mammy with new voiceover work performed by Thea Vidal to remove the stereotypical black jargon featured on the original cartoon soundtracks. The standard Tom and Jerry opening titles were removed as well. Instead of the roaring MGM lion sequence, an opening sequence featuring different clips of the cartoons was used instead. The title cards were also changed. A pink title card with the name written in white font was used instead. Debuting on CBS Saturday morning schedule on September 25, 1965, Tom and Jerry moved to CBS Sundays 2 years later and remained there until September 17, 1972.